Welcome to today's deep dive. I'm so glad you're joining us. Today is Thursday, June 11th, 2026.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited for this one.
Me too. Because for this session, we're unpacking a brand new press release and an accompanying white paper that literally just dropped today from EON AI Ventures.
Fresh off the presses.
Exactly. And our mission over the next few minutes is to dissect this really bold new concept they're introducing called work intelligence.
Right.
We're going to help you understand exactly what this software framework is and, more importantly, how this might completely rewire the way your own company operates from the ground up.
Yeah. It is a massive claim they're putting forward. The leadership behind EON AI Ventures comes from EON Reality, which, is an organization with a 25-year history in immersive learning and spatial computing.
Right, they've been doing this for a long time.
Exactly. And today, they are essentially announcing a unified architecture for the enterprise. They're claiming to have built the, quote, missing piece in enterprise software.
Which is, that's a perfect place to start.
Yeah.
To really understand why this matters to you, think about how a company totals up its value. Usually, it is this very tangible, rigid math, right? You count the real estate, the inventory sitting in the warehouse, the cash in the bank. It's all tracked meticulously on a spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's highly auditable, it's clean, and frankly, it is very comforting for executives.
Right. But then, you look at the actual operations, the bustling factory floor, the maintenance bays, the surgical suite.
It's the real work.
Exactly. And you realize the most valuable thing in that entire building isn't on a spreadsheet at all. It's walking out the door at 5 p.m. every evening.
Yeah, the actual expertise of your workforce.
Yes, if your veteran experts decide to retire or, just don't come back tomorrow, all that rigid math suddenly doesn't mean a thing.
And that vulnerability brings us right to the baseline of enterprise technology today, which kind of frames the exact gap EON is attempting to fill here.
Let's lay that out for everyone.
So right now, modern businesses basically run on three main systems of record. You have your ERP, which manages your resources and materials.
And nuts and bolts.
Right. You have your CRM, which manages your customer relationships. And then you have PLM, which manages the life cycle of your products. Those are the three massive databases that really dictate modern commerce.
But EON is proposing a fourth.
Exactly.
They are introducing WI, or Work Intelligence, as the fundamental system of record for work. The white paper makes a very compelling point here. They argue that this new system captures the largest share of enterprise value that has never actually been put into a database before.
Which is wild to think about.
It is, and that value is exactly how a company's absolute best people perform their jobs.
What's fascinating here is the distinction EON draws between business intelligence, or BI, and work intelligence, WI.
Okay, break down that difference for us.
So for years, companies have poured, billions of dollars into business intelligence dashboards. But BI only tells the enterprise what it did. It's entirely retrospective.
Like looking in the rearview mirror.
Exactly. It looks at the data exhaust and says, well, here's what happened last quarter. Work intelligence, on the other hand, is designed to capture how the enterprise actually works in real time. It's the active, continuous capturing of human expertise.
Okay, let's unpack this because abstract enterprise software concepts can get a little dry if we aren't careful. Let's use an analogy.
I love a good analogy.
Right. So think of a massive, high-end Michelin star restaurant.
Okay, making me hungry, but go on.
So in this master kitchen, your current software covers all the basics. Your ERP is tracking the raw ingredients in the pantry, like exactly how many truffles you have left.
Right.
Your CRM is tracking the reservations and the VIP diners sitting at the tables. Your PLM is tracking the finalized menu items and pricing.
The whole business side is covered.
Yes. But until now, there's been absolutely no database capturing the master chef's actual physical instincts.
Oh, that's a great point.
Right. How they know exactly when a sauce is perfectly reduced just by the viscosity, or the specific flick of the wrist they use to flip a delicate crepe, their intuition when adjusting a seasoning on the fly.
And that analogy highlights the exact blind spot. The kitchen has all the tools and ingredients logged, but the art of the cooking, the spatial physical work, is completely undocumented.
It just lives in the chef's head.
Exactly. And according to this press release, EON has built the system to finally capture those physical instincts. To achieve this, they break down this work intelligence concept into a three-part structure. Dan Lidgerskar, the chairman of EON AI Ventures, is quoted here saying, quote, "The story is simple enough to say in one breath."
A bold claim.
Right. They call it the Trinity of Work Intelligence. And that is the vision, the engine, and the asset.
Okay, let's take those one by one, starting with the vision.
So the first part, the vision, they label it Human 2.0.
Human 2.0.
Yeah. The explicit claim in the white paper is that this technology multiplies every worker. It ostensibly puts the best expert's judgment on every single junior worker's shoulder.
Like a digital mentor.
Exactly. And EON makes a very specific, deliberate point. In the text, they claim people are not replaced, they are 10x'd.
All right, I have to jump in here and offer some pushback.
Go for it.
Because whenever a tech company rolls out a shiny term like Human 2.0, my dystopia alarm bells just start ringing.
That's entirely fair.
It sounds a bit like humans are just being turned into data gatherers, like we're just meat sensors feeding a corporate algorithm, you know?
Yeah, the optics of it can definitely lean that way.
Right. They explicitly promise that people are not replaced, that they are 10x'd. But I have to ask, is that distinction merely semantic? Like, are we really amplifying the worker, or are we just extracting their brain to eventually get rid of them?
This raises an important question, and I mean, it is arguably the most critical skepticism to bring to this white paper. To answer it, we have to look at the second part of their trinity, the engine.
Okay, the engine.
Which they call the Intelligence Flywheel. This flywheel mechanism is supposed to explain why the human element is structurally necessary, not just a temporary data gatherer.
So it's a loop?
Right. It's a closed loop that captures how work is done, and it has 5 distinct stages.
Right.
Genesis, field IQ, assess IQ, verdict, and compound IQ.
Okay. That's a lot of IQs. So how does a 5-stage flywheel actually prevent a dystopian outcome? Let's ground this. Walk me through what those stages actually look like for a worker on the floor.
Let's use an aerospace technician performing maintenance on a complex turbine.
Perfect. High stakes.
Exactly. The first stage is Genesis. Rather than a human spending months coding a virtual environment, the AI automatically generates a highly accurate 3D digital twin of that specific turbine engine.
Automatically. No coding.
Automatically, no coding.
Okay.
Then comes field IQ. The technician walks up to the real turbine, perhaps wearing augmented reality glasses or holding a tablet. The system doesn't just record them passively, it actively guides them, highlighting the exact casing to remove in 3-dimensional space.
So that's the spatial guidance. What happens when the human actually does the work? Like turns the wrench?
That triggers the third stage, assess IQ. As the technician uses their wrench, the system uses spatial cameras to capture the exact physical movement. It records the angle, the sequence, the visual state of the machine.
It's mapping reality.
Yes, it is capturing the physical physics of the job, not just having the worker check a text box on a clipboard that says, casing removed.
Right, which is huge.
And this leads to the final 2 stages, which really address your dystopian concern, verdict and compound IQ.
Okay, lay it on me.
The AI makes a judgment, a verdict, comparing what the technician just did against the established best practice. If the veteran technician did something slightly different, slightly more efficient, based on the real-world friction of that specific rusty bolt, the AI learns from it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the system updates the master model, which is the compound IQ stage.
Okay, that actually makes me feel a bit better about the 10x claim.
Right.
Because if I'm understanding this right, the AI is essentially the student, and the human worker is the teacher grading its homework in real time.
That's a great way to put it.
The AI can't just take the job because it fundamentally lacks the ability to physically interact with the real world and generate that necessary friction.
Exactly. That is the core argument EON is making. It is an adversarial symbiosis. The AI cannot compound its intelligence without the human continuously testing it, breaking it, and correcting it in the messy physical reality of the factory floor.
Which logically produces the third part of the trinity.
The asset.
Right, the asset. That is the actual work intelligence itself. The white paper describes this as a living 3D world owned by the enterprise that is compounding daily. So the vision is Human 2.0, the engine is that intelligence flywheel driven by human friction, and the asset is this living spatial database of work.
That is the architecture they're proposing. Every single time someone does the job using this system, that proprietary asset gets slightly smarter and mathematically more accurate to the physical world.
So, having defined the mechanics of this system, I know you listening right now are probably wondering, why hasn't someone built this before?
It's the obvious question.
Right. If capturing the how of work is so incredibly valuable, why are we only seeing this unified architecture in a press release in June of 2026?
Well, the source material addresses the timing directly. EON outlines 4 converging technological breakthroughs that make this flywheel possible now. whereas, it would have been science fiction a few years ago.
Right.
And they claim to be uniquely positioned to hold all 4 of these breakthroughs closed into one single loop.
And those 4 breakthroughs map directly to the flywheel stages we just discussed, right?
Yes.
The genesis, field IQ, assess IQ, and the verdict compound loop. But break down the actual tech leap for me. What makes EON uniquely capable of executing this?
It comes down to their pedigree in spatial computing. As we mentioned earlier, they bring 25 years of immersive learning experience to the table. The white paper notes they have over 4,400 institutional customers across more than 80 countries.
That's a massive footprint.
It is. And crucially, a granted US XR patent position.
Just to clarify for everyone real quick, when we say XR, we are talking about extended reality, which is the umbrella term that encompasses both virtual reality and augmented reality.
Correct. They have a massive foundational advantage in processing 3D environments. But the really critical argument they make in this paper, the reason this is happening now, is about a mandate for absolute quality.
Absolute quality.
Yeah. EON states that generic AI, specifically the large language models or foundation models that run popular chatbots, generally delivers roughly 80% quality.
Okay.
They are incredible, but they hallucinate. They essentially guess the next most probable word. However, EON argues that high-stakes enterprise operations require 100% precision.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because that leap from text-based AI to physical 3D space is the true game changer here.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's think about the limitations of text for a second. If you have ever tried to fix a complex plumbing issue under your kitchen sink by reading a dense 50-page PDF manual, you know how incredibly frustrating text can be for physical work.
It's awful.
It really is. You're trying to translate a flat 2D schematic into the 3-dimensional mess of tangled pipes right in front of your face.
Yeah, it requires a massive amount of mental gymnastics.
Exactly. Now imagine instead having a 3D interactive overlay, a spatial twin guiding your hands in real time. It physically highlights the exact valve to turn in your actual field of vision. It completely removes the cognitive load of translating text into physical action.
And that cognitive translation gap is precisely why the 80% versus 100% quality distinction matters so much for the enterprise.
Tell me more about that.
Well, if a generic text-based AI hallucinates a recipe for chocolate chip cookies, it's fine. You get a slightly dense cookie, big deal. But if a generic AI hallucinates the torque requirements for how a technician should operate heavy machinery or maintain that aerospace turbine we talked about.
Oh, that is catastrophic.
Exactly. It's catastrophic. You simply cannot run high-stakes, dangerous physical operations on an 80% accurate text model that relies on probability.
You just can't risk it.
No. You need a specialized, closed-loop 3D system that is mathematically mapped to physical reality. That is EON's argument for how you guarantee the 100% precision required to safely guide a human worker.
Okay, so let's assume the technology is verified. The 3D world is built.
Okay.
The master chef's instincts, or the aerospace technician's exact hand movements, have been digitized with 100% precision into this work intelligence asset.
Right.
So what is the ultimate strategic endgame for the enterprise that adopts this? Like, what does a company actually do with this massive new database?
The endgame EON outlines is entirely about data ownership and preparing for the physical future. They position this system in 2 final strategic categories.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, this system keeps enterprise knowledge proprietary. Right now, there is a massive industry trend of foundation models, those giant public AI brains absorbing enterprise knowledge.
Right. If you upload your company's standard operating procedures into a public chat bot, to summarize them, you are essentially feeding your proprietary knowledge into a shared brain.
Exactly the risk EON highlights. If you feed your master chef's secrets into a public model, your competitors might eventually gain access to that stylized knowledge.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
EON argues that work intelligence must be owned entirely by the operator. It is a compounding asset that belongs strictly to the enterprise running on their servers. It acts as an impenetrable private moat.
That makes perfect business sense. Protect your most valuable data. What is the second category?
The second part of their positioning is far more provocative.
Uh-oh.
They use the phrase, humans first, machines next.
Humans first, machines next.
Yeah. They state that this work intelligence system acts as the vital complement to physical AI, which is the industry term for advanced robotics. Essentially, they are saying the exact work intelligence asset they are capturing from human workers right now will eventually become the curriculum that physical robots will need to function in the real world.
So what does this all mean? Because I am having a massive aha moment here, but it also feels like a glaring contradiction in their messaging.
How so?
Well, earlier in the press release, they explicitly stated people are not replaced. They are 10x'd.
Right, the human 2.0 thing.
Yeah, they make sure to highlight the human 2.0 aspect to ease our dystopian fears. But right here at the end of the white paper, they admit that this captured human asset is the exact curriculum that future robots will need.
It's a pivot for sure.
It's a huge pivot. How do we reconcile that?
Mhm.
Are we actually 10xing the human, or are we just temporarily using the human worker to write the highly detailed training manual for their eventual robotic replacement?
If we connect this to the bigger picture of the tech industry, you can see the strategic brilliance or, depending on your perspective, the terrifying reality of this business model.
Right.
Right now, robotics hardware is advancing at a staggering pace. We have robots that can do backflips.
I've seen the videos. It's crazy.
It is, but what they lack is the brain, the nuanced curriculum to perform highly specific, complex, messy enterprise tasks.
The physical instincts of the chef.
Exactly. By keeping the AI proprietary and mapping it in 3D, the enterprise owns the brain that will eventually pilot their physical robots.
Oh, wow.
They are 10xing the human worker today in order to capture that immense proprietary value, fully knowing that the ultimate long-term leverage is transferring that proprietary 10x intelligence into automated physical machines tomorrow.
That is wild.
It's a strategic bridge. The human is necessary right now because the robots aren't ready, and the AI needs the human's physical friction to learn.
Wow. Okay. That is a lot to digest.
Yeah.
The human is the bridge to the robotic future, and work intelligence is the tool extracting the toll. Let's try to summarize the core takeaway here for our listeners.
Good idea.
What EON AI Ventures is introducing with this work intelligence framework represents a massive foundational shift in how businesses operate. It's a move from tracking what a company has its resources, its customers, its products, to capturing exactly how a company does what it does.
Yes.
They're attempting to move critical workflows out of static, 80% accurate text documents and into living, compounding, 100% accurate 3D environments.
It truly is positioned as the missing system of record. WI for work. We had ERP, CRM, PLM, and now WI. If it works as described, it fundamentally changes the valuation of human expertise within an organization. It turns human action into a quantifiable digital asset.
Which brings me to a final thought I want to leave you with, something to mull over on your own as you go about your day.
Right.
We've spent a lot of time talking about what this means for a company's bottom line and their strategic future. But think about what this means for the future of the traditional career ladder and the inherent value of your own personal experience. Let's say your company implements work intelligence. They successfully and perfectly capture the intuition, the spatial physical skills, and the nuanced instincts of their top 1% of veteran experts.
The master chefs.
The master chefs. If a brand new hire can walk in off the street, put on an XR headset with human 2.0 technology, and be guided to perform at that exact same veteran level on day one, what happens to the value of human experience?
That is the million-dollar question.
It is. How do you, as an individual worker, negotiate a salary or a promotion based on your unique skills when your instincts have already been downloaded as a compounding, company-owned asset?
It is a profound paradigm shift. For centuries, the worker held the monopoly on execution. But with this, the spreadsheet finally catches up to the human.
It really does. You know, we started this deep dive talking about how the most valuable thing a company has walks out the door at 5 p.m.
Right.
But with work intelligence, the physical person might walk out, but their 20 years of hard-earned expertise stays right there, running silently on a server, waiting for whoever puts on the headset tomorrow.
It's a brave new world.
It sure is. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Keep questioning the tools you use. Keep paying attention to how technology is constantly reshaping your reality, and we will see you next time.